Welcome to another episode of People of Data, where we get to highlight the wonderful people of data. These are our data leaders from various industries, geographies, and disciplines. Discover how companies are using data, their achievements, and the challenges they face. Today on the show, we have Sachin Mishra, who is a leader of data science and AI at Freshworks. He leads strategic decision science to drive AI-guided sales and marketing. He's got 18 years of experience, worked at companies like Wipro, Amazon, Cognizant. Sachin describes himself as a true practitioner and loves solving real-world problems with an application of scientific knowledge. He's also stayed away from a lot of the buzzwordy type stuff in the AI world, which is one of the reasons we're super excited to have him on the show today. Sachin, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Tarish. It's my pleasure to be with you today and looking forward to our conversation.
Let's do it. Are you ready to get started?
Yes, please.
So, just at a high level, what is Freshworks? How does it make money? And how does data play a role in helping Freshworks with what it wants to do?
Yeah, Tarish. So Freshworks basically delivers modern AI guided customer and employee experience solutions. I think today around 68,000 companies in 120 countries, I think choose Freshworks for uncomplicated solutions, which deliver rapid time to value. American Express, Bridgestone, Databricks, Sony are some of the names which are using today Freshworks and its AI-powered customer and employee experience solutions. Our primary product lines are around IT service management, I think IT asset management and related categories, as well as basically customer experience, omni-channel products, and sales and marketing related solutions. Now, Freshworks is, as of now, headquartered in San Mateo, California. I think we operate as a global team. We are looking to help our customers across the globe. I think we do offer entire suite of AI-assisted agents and related solutions to make it easy for companies at any scale, right? Provide the best possible customer experience to their customer and employee experience to their respective customers and subsequently their employees itself.
Got it. What's the culture like? Obviously, big company traditionally, a lot of it was built in India, part of the built in India, built for the world playbook. What's the culture? But at the same time, in the last few years, expanded, having people sort of actually globally. What's the culture like at a company level? How does this map into the culture you're creating inside the data org? So, if you have people who are listening into the show who are potentially considering careers at sort of Freshworks and especially in the data team, how should they be thinking about this?
That's a great question, Tarush. I think Freshworks obviously has strong roots or origins from Chennai in India. Over the period of time, we have truly embraced our cultural philosophy, which is Kutumba. So I think we treat the entire world, including our employee base, as part of extended family. I think we are practicing that day in and day out in our culture as well. As basically we have come out of initial stages of modern software as a service platform. We have paid basically attention to the details while go and scale softwares at this scale. I think our strength still remains in very uncomplicated, simple to use solutions. So we pay a lot of attention as well as take a lot of pride in building modern, sophisticated solutions, which are really simple and easy to use. It's much easier said than done. Building a simple software is way more complicated and challenging than it is given credit.
Yeah. And what's the culture like on the data team? I know simplicity and simplifying the experience for your customers is, as you mentioned, of paramount importance. But what's the culture like in the data team? And, we've always seen that individual teams have their own quirks and, have their own sort of ways of doing things. We've had some great examples on the show before. What's one example of something which, you see sort of is present in the culture of the data team, which might be different from the culture of the global organization?
I'll simply say that I think as a data team, right, we practice something which is inherently as part of Freshworks' overall culture, which is agility with accountability. In this kind of environment where there is no shortage of, I think, data footprint across your employee and customer lifecycle journeys, at times we all have been guilty of getting caught up into analysis paralysis, and you can go and dig as much as you want, but is it really allowing your stakeholders having access to the right information at the right point of time for them to be able to make informed decisions? As a data, especially on the decision science function that I lead, I think we really try to balance that thing. Hey, and practice agility with accountability, where I think, are we able to deliver the immediate value at the time of decision making without getting caught up into the complexities of the world?
Yeah, that makes sense. Talking about the data team, what's the footprint like? How big is Freshworks in terms of number of employees? In terms of a data group, how big is it? What's the split between, data engineering, science, analytics, whatever functions you have?
So Freshworks, as of now, has around 5,000 plus employees across the globe. In terms of data footprint and data teams, it's the usual structure where you have embedded data related functions and teams as part of your product engineering and product analytics groups. Then we have central platform data teams, which are more heavy on engineering or data engineering function side. Then you have innovate at the edge kind of teams, edge teams like the team that I run, which is primarily focused on helping Freshworks truly enter the enterprise market globally by allowing enterprise-grade decisions and prioritizations and other stuff to be made as we enter new markets and grow.
Yeah.
Or
And in terms of size, out of the 5,000 odd employees, how many people are employed in the data domain?
Collectively, as you know, right, I think data world has evolved, and there we have added more and more nuances and variations into the role. So if I combine right from analysts, data product managers, I think certain other teams, I think we may have a few hundred people. I think we still have very distributed ecosystem, which is aligned more for speed and agility as for the teams, etc. So I think it's a very hub and spoke model where we have some centralized teams as well as teams which are at the edge to support their respective business functions.
That makes sense, right? Like very typically, just very, very, sort of tablecloth math, we see typically technology functions inside organizations being between 20 to 25%. And out of that data inside a technology function being about 20% of data. So very typically about 4% of a company size. At a company size of sort of Freshworks, that would ballpark put it at about 200 employees out of 5,000. You mentioned a few hundred. So, probably as we analyze this, in line with like sort of what we expect of a 5,000 person org, what do you think is like, what's the breakup between, and we see like larger businesses go through this all the time. What is centralized versus what is decentralized, right? The more stuff which is centralized, you can have higher quality by centralizing it, but it becomes a little bit slower. And then decentralized, the fragmentation of it. So,
so Tarush, unfortunately, there is no magic pill for it. I've seen it. I've built data organizations from scratch to few hundred people. I think with AWS in last 10 years, with Amazon. So I feel like it shifts or changes as your organization grows, and how you are basically aligning yourself as per your product line strategic goals and market conditions. For me, the thing that has worked over the years is staying flexible and not overcommitting to either of these models, because as your business needs and your overall landscape shifts, just like any other organization, right? Data teams also need to evolve. In some cases, the data team staying closer to the business for certain functions works well in early days. As you scale up, I think you start getting into operational excellence and other challenges, and that is the right time to think about some of the centralization and other pieces. I am firm believer in that, Tarush. I myself have not found an ideal solution, neither I try. or recommend anybody getting into this debate of centralization versus distributed teams.
I love that. I love the flexible approach over there and being open to fundamentally solving the business problems as opposed to being tied up to one of these approaches. I think it's a great answer. What is, as you think about your technology stack, particularly your data technology stack, what is this stack today? And then as you can guess, my follow-up question would be like, what is the flexibility the on-edge teams have as opposed to using some of the central data stack versus potential niche tools which might be more relevant for you?
Yeah, so just like any other global organization, I'll say that it's a multi-cloud, multi-platform driven data ecosystem. There is flexibility available for respective team, right from some of the customer facing, I think, teams such as marketing teams, etc. I think are using more MarTech proprietary tools. I think that then there is central product and engineering where I think you need to care about scale and volume of the data. There are some streaming specific solutions, etc. Because ultimately, if you are providing a scaled enterprise grade customer and employee experience solutions with AI as a primary feature, you need to take care of some of those scaling challenges for your product as well, etc. So it's a very, I'll say that multi-cloud, multi-platform ecosystem. Some of the central data lake or data warehouse related functions are getting streamlined. And nowadays, with this an emphasis on more modern data capture approaches, etc. However, edge teams more or less have flexibility to choose some of the options, how they are consuming and serving and their own customers.
What do you use? What's your data warehouse? What do you guys use for ingestion? What are some of the BI tools? What does the de facto sort of data platform look like today?
Yeah, so over the period of time, the overall data platform has evolved around Databricks as the primary tool. I think we have had Snowflake. There is a lot of AWS and GCP behind the core as well as for any data platform. At the same time, to address some of the scaling challenges, we do have some of the other open source options as well, a lot of investments and around some of the vector DBs, etc. As I said, it's a multi-cloud, very distributed ecosystem with all possible situations.
And in terms of BI in particular, do you have a central BI tool across the organization, or do you also have like multiple offerings?
I think primarily we have been on here with the scale and I think obviously further considerations of operational efficiencies. In terms of BI, if I define as end user reporting or dashboarding capabilities, it's primarily Power BI off late that I have seen. At the same time, there are other heap analytics and other user facing solutions which are also available. We do have our own products having native reporting capabilities itself, etc.
People of Data is brought to you by 5x. It's no surprise that the data space is one of the most fragmented industries with over 500 vendors in 30 plus categories. The analogy we use is data vendors are selling car parts. Imagine walking into a Honda and instead of selling you a Civic, they sell you an engine and you have to build your own car. That's exactly what's happening in the data world today. 5x is an all-in-one data platform that's incredibly easy to use. We make it easy to consolidate your data from your different systems, clean it, structure it, model it, and make it available through dashboards, reporting, and AI. Whether you're building a data platform from scratch, filling in missing pieces, or need expert data services, 5x has you covered. Imagine a world where any team can become a data and AI team in just a few clicks. If you're interested in making sure you don't get left behind in this new world of data and AI, get a demo at 5x.co. I love what you said about, at an organization of your size, it's no longer about do you use Databricks or Snowflake? It's very often both, right? How do you really sort of differentiate between them and Is the idea
Yeah, so,
ever to have a consolidated one?
again, I'll say that there is no right or wrong answer here. My simple take is, as any organization evolves, especially in modern software as a service world, AI monetization had been something that has been there for last 8 to 10 months as you go down the food chain, right? It's easy for chip manufacturers, etc., to make money, but ultimately for end user applications, some of the products that we have, I think AI monetization has been seen as something that, hey, which could be make or break for industry as well after all the hype and everything. So I think for us, how relevant and how easy and how efficient we could be around our end-to-end data, which ultimately is the food for some of our features and other stuff that we have been building for. So it's more or less, hey, how efficiently, how can basically optimize the overall cost and scale with a lot of open source flexibility, etc.
What is one aspect which you're really proud of? Like, what is one thing which the team has done, which has had which your data group has done, which has had a huge impact on the business?
It's a relatively newer function here, where my goal was how I can basically move some of these decisions to be informed more in proactive way, right from consuming data after the fact for reactive decision making. Right? Hey, can I bring some of these things earlier in the overall decision making life cycle, etc. So it's a cultural transformation that we have gone through. One of the things that one of the first things earlier in the year, as I was talking about, most of the tech, you can say, word was setting expectations for markets and other stuff in terms of AI monetization. We were ahead of the curve, so we had roughly 60,000 customers in beta trials of our AI solutions already, I think, since Q4 or Q3 and Q4 of last year. So I think for us, the decision was, while we are setting some of the market guidance, etc., how should we basically have a very thoughtful approach to proof of value? And which are these customers who are the right customers where we can optimize the value, both thinking from their perspective as well as inside. And it being a cold start problem where obviously you can mimic a lot of purchase behaviors, but identifying, especially in the current macroeconomic situation, who will be the real customers who are ready to pay for some of the talk about AI solutions could be challenging because the overall macroeconomic landscape, I think everybody was going for more selective pricing, investment strategies. People wanted to see results or proof of investment or returns on investment first before making long-term commitments, etc. So identifying those things, right customers at the right time for having those monetization conversations to be able to convert them from a trial to paying customers, and setting the tone for the future roadmap, as well as setting the right expectations around AI-powered features was one of the most meaningful things we did just within few days against all odds, without having a historical purchase behavior data or any third party. I think we had to reinvent some of the rules, go ahead and chase and apply some hybrid heuristic based as well as I think some of the ML based propensity modeling approaches to finally reduce the subset. And we were able to guide our go-to-market teams to have that customer cohort base for prioritized discussions, which led to, I think, more meaningful proof of value on, I think, to collective decision making.
I love that your solution kind of had a component to it, which is also sort of cultural. Very often on the show we hear very concrete examples of here's one feature which we delivered which had XYZ impact. So it's really good to see you're combining both technology as well as people and process. So that's awesome. On the flip side of this, what's one of the challenges which you face? Again, you mentioned it's a new role, but what's one of the challenges which you face which you are working through today?
Yeah, dealing with some of the perennial problems as well, right? For example, sales forecasting. It's not a new problem given the volatility in the technology market as well as overall macroeconomic situation, especially when you don't have stable series or historical revenue or bookkeeping information with. I think in early stages of your product market maturity or S-curve, I think organizations go through changes, and modern basically technology or SaaS word could be volatile as well. So that's one of the things we have been trying, how we can bring in some of the macroeconomic indicators and really predict the course of our action. Apart from that, as the market and tools and our modern generation or customer base is getting savvy, right? Where not everybody really wants to interact with sales and marketing related, maybe historical notions or business processes, how to build a more fully sales and marketing business processes, where I think we can minimize the interactions or touch points. I think deliver very personalized buying as well as selling experience, and how to not only sell our customers AI and related features and solutions, how to really use it and demonstrate the values.
That makes a ton of sense. Sachin, thank you so much for being on the show, and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you, Tarush. It was a pleasure, and I look forward to future such conversation. Thank you. Bye-bye.